Fringe North Podcast Series. So each episode will have some exciting guests from our amazing community of performers and creators who will give us an inside look into both their lives as artists and what they're bringing to the festival this season. Hello, bonjour, Annie. Hola.
This week, I am so excited to be joined by Sarah and Erin from Fun and Funner. Thank you for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Sarah, we had a conversation last week, podcast. We talked a little bit about your own performance, and this week we'll focus on Fun and Funner. Can you introduce yourselves, I guess, as individuals, as artists, but also introduce your performance, Fun and Funner?
Sure. Okay. I'm Erin Antonello, artist. That's a funny word. And you know what? My whole life is actually pretty artistic, although my job is hairstyling, so it's not music at all. But it's still kind of always living in that realm. I don't know. I've been playing music since I was a little kid, and different instruments, different experiences. And now I'm a mom, and sometimes I like to entertain kids, and we thought it would be fun, and that's how we ended up in this realm. I'm Sarah. I grew up around a campfire with guitars and singing songs with my family, and I think your experience is a little bit similar, right? So Erin and I met a couple of years ago, and I just thought she was cool and decided she should be my friend. And so now we make music together. Yeah.
That is so great. So can you tell me a little bit about the performance you'll be performing for Kids Fringe? Is this your first time performing for Kids Fringe? Nice. How have you done any other performances in around the Sioux, or this is kind of first big performance?
So yeah, this is Fun and Funner's first big performance. We've done lots of different things individually, but this is the debut of the Kids Act that we thought would just be super fun, and we have kids and know what it's like to be around them. And I personally just kind of have made jokes to people about wanting to be like Raffy or Splashing Boots or whatever. And I was saying, like, I can, but sometimes I just get the guitar and start playing, and kids will just crowd around me. And that's how I realized it's like way less pressure. Not that I don't want high quality, but you're playing a band and the point is to do well. It's fun, but it's work and you're thinking hard. Where I find with kids, you want to do a good job, but mistakes are okay. Actually, using the kids, it's helpful to sort of model the mistakes and just move past them. I'm not so worried about getting every note right, and we're more worried about having fun. It is a really good time. I teach little humans music through Kids Music a couple of times a week, and it's really gratifying to see the smile on their faces. So we're just gonna continue to be that kind of sort.
That's amazing. And so, have you written original music for the performance?
Written, no. Modified, yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Just kind of classics to start, just to keep it easy, low pressure for us. And we want audience engagement, and we decided that using songs that people know will help encourage that more, because we kind of want to make it as interactive as we can while being entertaining. So you totally try to helps them join in.
Right on. And what's the age range around, like, for the kids? I'm assuming it can be kind of a big age range, because music's for everyone, but
I think it depends on what kind of person you are. Like, I love these songs and I'm 41. But the songs that we chose, I think would be like kindergarten, preschool. Like, that's the audience that I think will truly, really lean into that kind of fun. And I don't know, it just depends on who you are after that. If you can continue to like interactive children's music.
Yeah. So can you tell me a bit about the interactive part? You did talk a little bit about, the kids will probably be familiar with some of the music. Do you invite kids to kind of sing along and join in? Is there like the sing along portion of it?
The whole thing. Yeah. And like, if we could do any call and response in the music, we want to do that. And we just want to make sure they're in it and not just being passively entertained, because they're young and you only have a short time frame to catch them. We're trying to keep the songs short so that we're continuing to transition into new ideas just to keep them occupied. Keep them engaged, right? We don't want them like, oh, can I wear your phone?
Yeah.
What's the thing with that? Yeah. We want them to play.
Yeah. That's awesome. So could you tell me a bit about both your experiences as moms, and how that kind of learning experience has shaped this art? Like, obviously it's pretty clear, and you did mention like having kids have like influenced just wanting to entertain them, but like, can you tell me a bit about, I don't know, I guess that experience of trying to entertain your kids and seeing other like kids kind of, I'm sure that there's, like you mentioned, there's other kids around that kind of are like sparked by music. Yeah, can you tell me a bit about that experience of just kind of coming to this fun and funner?
Well, I became a mom when I was only 16, so I was very young. And singing and playing with my kids came very naturally because I was so young. I was a kid. So we sang and we played and we did a lot of pretending. My son is now 25 and my oldest daughter is 23 and my youngest is 14. So like of all of the things that I miss the most about parenting tiny humans is that we used to play and pretend. And now the conversations are different. They're so wonderful, but they're very, very different. And I really missed playing with the little and like watching how their brains absorb information. Like, oh, you like that? What if we change this way? And being able to like use those pretend notions to help develop cool thoughts. And it's really fun to be able to do that from a performance aspect with whole groups of children. It's going to be really exciting. I can say I come from the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of parenting. I did not become a mom until I was 31. And my children right now are 8 and 10. So I think they're kind of on the fence of an age that may or may not be super into this anymore. But I can say from my own experience, I kind of lost that child inside of me because I didn't have kids very young, that I became an adult. When it comes to art and projects, I seem to be a person that goes all in. So when I was a kid, I was very much involved in music. I was in bandettes. I went away on tour every summer to do competition. Oh, I bet that's the one. So sounds ready. Color guard, like flag, drumline. Oh, I thought you were gonna give me trouble. No, I won't. Those are tournament. Yeah, like a marching band. We did competition. I did that my whole childhood, and then I dove deep into hairstyling and did a lot of performance art in hairstyling, like teaching hairstyling on stage and stuff. Flash forward to 30, 31, I have a child. And then I started hearing kids' music again and remembered songs I had forgotten that I knew. And it was like this little kid inside of me woke up again through having children. And I was so seriously into hairdressing that I had to pick up an instrument. And I was a very good trumpet player as a kid. And I can play guitar, I can play ukulele, I can play things when I put my mind to figure it out. So I wanted to expose my kids to musical instruments again. And that made me kind of bring back the home I grew up in. My mother is a performer. She always sang and played guitar. So I wanted that environment for them. So I had to start doing it again to show them. And then it just sort of bled into like, I want to do this. Kids music is really fun. And then I met Sarah and she's really fun. So we thought and just crazy enough to be like, do you want to do a kids band? Is that weird? And then it wasn't. So now we're here.
That's so great. Yeah. Well, I grew up in a household where music was really important too. And like, it really shapes like memories. It's just these core memories that are associated with song and it's fun too. Like a lot of kids' music. I remember going on, road trips and having, I guess, the Kids Stomp and Tom tape. That's just like, that's just in my memory.
That's and so Canadian.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Talking about PI potatoes and all that stuff. Yeah. But it's definitely, it's a big part of growing up. Can you tell me a little bit about why music is important and or why you think it's so important to young, like youth? And I'm not too familiar with the arts and music culture here in Sault Ste. Marie for youth, but is it pretty active? Like, are there music lessons in classes and like, are they still teaching music? And Because I know that sometimes the arts get pulled away, or get, I don't know, it seems like there's less and less arts depending on the school district. But can you tell me a bit about, why you think it's so important, and like what is going on in the Sioux for youth arts?
I think there's a lot going on. If you have the privilege to have access, if you have parents who have the time and resources to get you there. I'm saying this based on the fact that I spent 10 years in the United States doing drum corps, where I observed that every individual has way higher access to music education for no money at all within their school system, and higher exposure to musical instrument variety and instruction in general. So I would say as a country, or even maybe I can't speak to the whole country, as a province and a city, we could do more. But I think given what we have, the extracurricular activities are alive and well here. I don't know if they're actually built into everyone's experience. And that's a big reason why I wanted to bring music back into my house for my kids. Because I was like, first of all, I've been in concert band and I've been in orchestra and drum corps where they don't even know that bassoon exists. And I would like them to be able to name the instruments. And just like the reason I can play trumpet so well is because I started when I was 8. I was just young. I didn't know anything. So I didn't have any self-consciousness attached to playing, and it just sort of flowed through. And I got to be really bad and loud when I was young, and it didn't matter, which is helpful in the learning curve. Like, you have to be bad before you can be good. Even as an adult, like, I had to be comfortable with singing badly before I could sing well. I had to just be okay with that. So I think that the Sioux does what they can. I think our government doesn't see how much music brings to the holistic of a human.
So, but you still have friends that you hang out with, that you made music with when you were a child, and not for like lifelong.
Oh yeah, I drum for class.
So the bond that you build by making music with people when you're young is very, very strong. I've mentioned that I am a teacher at Easons, and most of the people that work in this building and educate children with regards to many different instruments or vocals, they've all been friends for an exorbitant amount of time, and it's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. It's like our own little island of misfit toys. Like, if you don't fit, you fit when you get this theater or yeah. So Chase has a great music program. Warren Arts Academy has a great music program with theater. The conservatory as well. Incredible teachers. But the really neat thing is all of these businesses are in the same business. They all work together. Nobody's trying to steal each other's clients. There's enough space for everybody. And I also know that families that don't have the privilege to be able to take care of their own lessons on a financial basis or sometimes with transportation. So there are children who are sponsored by different organizations to be able to come in and take lessons. Sometimes the school board will hire one of these programs to go in and do music classes, but it's not part of the curriculum like it used to be. And it's definitely missing. That was one of my favorite parts of school.
Concert band.
When I was in high school, my full morning was music. Yeah, I had like vocals class, then guitar, and then the next semester was like, I'm going to skip ahead to grade 11 vocals class. So I like singing in the morning to be in a better mood. I mean, a teenager and a good mood is all necessary, right? Yeah. I used to have like a vocals class, and then it would be concert band. And then, like, yeah, just anyone who's watched this track wants to be in a club. I was just like a Patrick.
What you see music in the school, and they want to.
Oh, happy day. Well, I could sense the energy coming from both of you. And that's probably just a slice of it that will be on stage. That's really exciting. Yeah, it's interesting to hear. I come from a bit of a music background myself, but it was in conservatory. So I never really got to have those fun kind of band experiences that kids get, because there wasn't that option at my school. But yeah, that sounds pretty amazing, and it's awesome that kids, like, I totally agree that like music is a huge part of culture and like learning, and it's in every culture. It's not just, it's not just here in Canada, like you mentioned States, obviously it's very similar, but it's like every culture has song, has dance, has some sort of performing arts kind of tied in and woven into the history. And it's really important. So it's fun that you're doing this fun and funner, but it's also, I think it's important work. Do you think that there might be a future in like continuing this band, this performance? Like, would you be interested in like playing for schools and that kind of thing?
Absolutely. I'd love to. And we're going to try and work on it a little bit now. This is our first performance, and I think we need some time to get into it. Right now, we're kind of planning on Sarah using guitar, and I'm going to use a ukulele, and I'll try to mix my trumpet in, but kind of the idea is just expose them to a few different instruments, to people that can play more than one thing. Just singing, ladies, that's nice too. It's but regardless, it's nice to see that they're just for inspiration and seeing how people work together. And I just like music, particularly because it's, whether you're making the music or you're observing the music, you're still participating. Where some art forms, you have to be doing art, participate, theater, music, all of this. No matter how you're taking it in, you're in it. Yeah, that's a great feeling for everybody. Oh, it's giving me
Yeah, that's a good comment.
Emelie, do you want to join our girl band?
I would be down. It sounds like a fun
play keys. We also want to go rock band.
Yeah, I could play the piano. That's where my training comes in.
Oh, perfect. I have a keyboard.
Nice. Oh, yes. I used to play around with, like, I had a keyboard as well, and then like I play on the acoustic piano, but fun was had on the like DJ little.
Yeah, that's where you have like the most fun. Like,
yeah,
that's what's kind of fun about taking skills. Like, I didn't really sing much other than maybe a little bit with my family, because everyone in my family sings and plays something. It's mostly like country and bluegrass and gospel. And then I just didn't even try it until I was older, but I found being able to play the trumpet made singing easier.
Wow.
Just breathing, intonation, notes. You play an instrument, you're still in sort of like a choir of that instrument instead of a choir of voices. So I found learning one opens up doors to the other. I didn't pick up a ukulele until I was 35, but I was watching Walk Off the Earth and thought they were amazing and was like, I'm buying a ukulele from Kate's Music tomorrow and I'm going to figure it out because I already know how to play guitar and it can't be that hard. I was their driver last time they were in town. They're really nice. They're super fun. Super fun. You know, the multi-instrument thing. That's how Spartan. I'm like, look at these people. They can play everything they try. Yeah, they're wickedly shy. Yeah. But it's just very inspiring to see it. We'd like to do that on a small scale for children. Like more cowbell. More. And not everyone got to live in a house full of singers who went to family reunions full of banjo. And not everyone gets that. I'm so fortunate that I got that. But if I could bring that to someone else's life who doesn't have that, just for half an hour, that was my favorite time when I was a kid. Like, I couldn't wait for the bonfire and the guitars to come out so that I could sit there and sing over and Papa. Yeah. For the longest time, like, and he used to play a lot of country. Actually, my grandfather and her mother used to play together. Very long time. Two legends. That's celebrity. So cool. Yeah. Of that generation. But like, I can remember staying up till way past my bedtime, but just sitting in front of my grandfather singing all of these old country songs to the point where people would ask me later, like, who sings that song? Who's the artist? And I don't know. My papa. Is there really an artist? I just left the song. Does it matter?
It's funny. Can you tell me a bit about the learning different instruments and how that's been? Because I'm just interested on like a musical perspective. I know, like, I've learned a little bit of guitar. I know it's quite different than the piano, especially when you're like trained in an instrument and like through the notation, just like trying to transfer over that knowledge. It's like, it's a way, you know, you're dealing with a way different way making the music and melodies. Like, melodies aren't just like hit through, sing them.
They're logical, right?
Yeah.
Or like the notes are all over the place.
Yeah.
once you figure out where your skills are, it sort of breaks it down a little bit easier for you. I'm still learning that piece. It's like guitar can be done with 4 chords, though.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a rhythm guitar player. I can learn a solo if you make me. I definitely find a lot of my training, similar to piano, started with the trumpet. And it's a single note instrument, like singing, where I'm just reading music and playing that. I kind of had to let that all go to play the guitar in the beginning. Yeah. I remember actually when I was about 15, I could not learn from my mother because she's my mother. So they hired my cousin Jay Case to come to our house maybe like 4 or 5 times, and he just sat me down and said, "What songs do you want to learn?" And we learned those chord progressions.
How did I not know you your cousin?
Yeah, our moms are cousins. Yeah, it's a small town. Anyways, I find approaching it that way and letting go of being a virtuosic guitar player, and I wanted to sing and have something to play with. And with the ukulele, I always just joke, like, I guess I'm going to learn some new chords today, but I'm learning a new song because I don't always know them. So I think it's just how much do you want to master this instrument? I sort of approach guitar with fun.
Yeah.
And I always joke, I'm like, if you need me to play a solo, I'm playing on the trumpet. And I do that with a band called Book Club all the time. As soon as it gets into that, I'm like, I'm way better at the trumpet, so I can lead line anything on that instrument, and I just play rhythm and sing.
Yeah.
Multi-arts extravaganza. Experience the unexpected with captivating performances, mesmerizing music, and stunning art. Inside and outside the iconic Sault Ste. Marie Museum Clock Tower, in the heart of downtown Sault Ste. Marie, where history meets the arts in celebration like no other. Join us at the Fringe North Festival and make memories that will last a lifetime. Fringe North Festival. For more information, visit our website at siouxfringe.com or find us on social media.
That's really cool. That comment of like having to forget the instrument, what you learned to like pick up a new one, that was my kind of experience too. What I found was it's kind of like learning language. Like you can't keep trying to translate what you know. That's really hard to do. You kind of have to like eventually adapt the new way of making a sound or whatever. Do you feel as though some of like, I guess, how music is being taught? I guess, Sarah, you're a music teacher. Is your experience in the arts or in music similar to what's happening now? Like, having come from a conservatory background, I don't know, I just feel that was quite the experience. I'm pretty grateful for that, but it seems as though like there's different ways of teaching music to kids to make it more accessible and not have to go through like 10 years of, pretty rigorous training. And it seems like so many of those kids don't play. Like they either become musicians or they don't play at all anymore. But yeah, could you tell me a bit about like what teaching, like what values you have in teaching music and that experience?
So the biggest thing that I work with the kids on is because I teach little ones and I teach a lot of group classes. So I'm not focusing in on one skill or one specific instrument. It's a lot of music appreciation. But the biggest thing that I try to focus on is that this is supposed to be fun and you're allowed to make mistakes. Like we cheer for mistakes. Yeah, mistakes are cool because that means we're getting somewhere else.
And I can hear them.
Yeah,
I know how to, even in an adult, do it loud so we can hear it and we can fix it.
Absolutely.
A very laissez-faire approach. That's fine. We'll fix it. Anything's fixable.
Yeah. So it just like it uncovers that air of perfection that sometimes people need to be, or not uncovers. It sort of dismisses that air of perfection that people think that they need to have. And I don't know, it just encourages kids to get involved more. I worked with a group of children this year that was they had a lot of high needs, and there were like some of the children had 2 workers to 1 child because the needs were so high. But being able to get them to focus in on music and actually sit still for a full 45-minute class and engage was really awesome. And I mean, some of these children were nonverbal, and when they would see me coming down the hallway, they would start singing our welcome song when they find it. So yeah, there really is a form of connection that these children appreciate, and they really need.
Lights up a different area of the brain, and you can feel engaged. I can say from my experience, I did go to the conservatory in high school. Luckily, I'd already been playing the trumpet for a while because my elementary school had a band program. And when I was about in grade 5, they just like literally gave me, I think, a clarinet, a trumpet, and something else to try. And I could make a noise with the trumpet the fastest. And the brass instruments are kind of a hard learning curve just to get sound out. Once you can do that, you can learn it. So that's how it ended up. And being in the band program was great. At the conservatory, I learned a lot, but I found, especially in that age, sometimes the private lessons felt a little anxiety inducing for me, particularly. I can't speak to anyone else's personality style because it was a lot of like, you go home, you learn this, you practice, you come back, and you have to play it better. And you have to answer, like, did you practice this week? So all the while in the background, I'd always been in bandettes, and we practiced twice a week. And they loved it if you practiced in between. Don't get me wrong, they wanted that. But if you didn't, they were like, that's fine. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And having a group practice with a moderator, like someone, an instructor, someone leading it. For some people, like even now, I do better in rehearsal because you're going to tell me play section A to C, and we're going to do it 3 times, and then we're going to break down the sections. But I also found being in an ensemble situation, when you weren't feeling so confident, it was easier to just show up, as you are. And every time I play music with anyone, even if it's in a band, like, don't worry about it. You didn't practice, you show up. That's what practice. Because what you need is people to be brave enough to show up. After that, magic happens. And for some people, the ensemble, I think, is the way to get them to learn, because some people might do private lessons and find that, for them particularly, too stressful or something, whatever that is. And I know it's their job to propel you forward, but I don't know, in my experience, being part of a community to play music was more important than being the best. Although I like being good. But you know what I mean? And I found that lesson thing was, it's just an easier thing to just show up as you are, even if you don't feel complete. Like, I'm incomplete, but I'm here. And I found in private lessons, whether it was true or not, I felt I needed to be complete just to get there. So I find that group setting is great for kids for that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I obviously ask this for like personal interest, but I think a lot of people can probably relate, just because there is that, like, some people have that conservatory background of private lessons and stuff like that. And I've spoken to like a number of friends that they felt that learning that way, that route of like being forced to read music and learn the technical side, it is great to know. But when there's just so much weight put on that instead of learning by ear, which is the way I best learn, but I wasn't kind of allowed to. So it's just like learning a song that you may recognize and listening to a bunch, and being able to feel the energy and kind of get into it. No, you have to do that just by like reading a sheet of music.
Well, you can do it in tandem. You can do the two things at the same time. Like, I'm a very much a music reader. I love sheet music. If you could get that to me, great. But I can play by ear because I've allowed myself to learn to do that. I know lots of people that can't. They can't believe I can play by ear. And I was like, I don't know, I just have to sometimes. And I figured it out.
And I was the opposite. I played like ear, and then I learned how to read music. So
yeah, I just think you can do it in tandem at any time. It's handy. But feeling the energy and feeling free to be incomplete and show up at practice is something that people, I think they need it.
Yeah, it's like on Saturdays when I have my little demons that come into the store, we do our music lesson, we play, and then they go out to the reading room and they all sit around the table and color together because they're not done playing yet. Like, they're enjoying each other's company because we just had a whole bunch of silly, fun stuff together for a while. So they all have bonds too. It's really neat.
I'd love to see private lesson conservatory environments in any city, anywhere, to sort of put that together as a band. Because I can see my experience from being in drum corps is that we would practice as an ensemble. From there, our instructors could determine what needed work. And then we would go and do the picky stuff, the conservatory private lesson experience that we probably both share. We sit down with just the trumpet section and say, okay, section A sounds a little screechy. Let's work on this. But we got that ensemble experience. We have something particular to practice now. We've all identified it needs work. And you just work on getting better, as opposed to, I don't know, it felt very heated, like hot seat, like when I was by myself trying to get better. I still did definitely obtain more skills that way. but the stress was not necessarily the thing. And I didn't continue to do that after I was done high school. Although I've taken a few intermittent here and there after lessons, but based on experience at already being in ensembles. And I need that, I think.
Yeah, the music as community, and it's making me think of just like the joy that music brings is like far more important than any skill, because if you know, you're gonna keep going if you like it. Like if it strikes a chord,
Well, but if the skill connects with what you're doing,
yeah,
then you'll continue to develop that skill, right? So there's got to be, you're reading a book by itself sucks unless there's a cool character, right?
Yeah.
Unless there's some way for you to connect with that book. So it's a bit of both.
Yeah.
It's nice to have a performance to shoot out for too. Like in that example I was giving, we both practice ensemble and then we separate and work on our own parts individually. And then we come back together for a performance, not another music lesson where I have to show my teacher at practice.
Yeah.
So it gives you, it's not as stressful, but you give that desire, like that desire inside of you to want to play better. But honestly, just being together. When I first started to really want to sing, I remember saying this to people, I just miss being in a chord. Like I'm not in a brass line anymore, and that's not conducive to my lifestyle anymore. But I'll learn to sing just so I can sing with other people, and that feeling, it's like in your heart, feels good. The same way when I'm playing the trumpet.
But when you hit a cool harmony, right? It vibrates. You get to feel it. It's awesome.
That's always like that high and searching for. It's the ensemble high. And the kids getting their dark audience. But I think I honestly chase the high of harmony with my band or whatever that is. If it's not harmony, like well executed syncopation, it just feels good than the actual anything to do with the audience. Selfishly.
Yeah.
That's you can be in your own little world. It's great.
Yeah. That's really cool to hear. As someone who's never experienced that, but like I love music so much.
You will. When you join our band, you're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a whole next Fringe.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's super admirable, the performance side where you're just kind of doing it for yourself. But I think the audience can totally feel that, you know, when I've been to like really great music performances, there's like the interaction between the crowd, the audience and the music, but you can tell they're in their own world. Like Sarah mentioned, like you're kind of in your own world and you can feel that. Like you can feel that that's a really raw thing to be able to just express. And yeah, you're there participating or observing that connection, which is magical as an audience.
We get together to jam. Oftentimes we would just sit and chat. And like we would chat for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then we say, oh my God, we got nothing done. But the point is we connected during that time. So like if she's feeling uncomfortable on stage, I know exactly what to watch for. So then I can solve her off. And she has the same thing. So there's even that aspect of, mental health is really important to me, like we discussed before. But knowing what's happening with your teammates or your bandmates, it's important. So you can like work together.
And then you'll always feel safe and ready to perform. Actually, anytime I get in an ensemble where everyone's got your back, like a sports team or anything else, it just gives you more of the juice it takes to show up in the first place.
Wow. That's so cool.
Must have got
Yes. Can you tell me, you've already mentioned a little bit about some performing experiences, but can you tell me some like learning curves that you've both had in the performance world and what it's like, and maybe what kids could potentially learn from that, or young performers?
People would rather watch somebody make mistakes, having fun and feeling comfortable inside their bodies, than watching you. I've done both of these things. Tirelessly work to play it perfect and then go up there with nervous energy. And yes, it was well executed because you wanted to get a good grade, but your energy was very nervous and feeling the judgment and all of that. And anytime I've ever watched a performance, when those people make mistakes, I feel so bad for them too. It's uncomfortable. But when someone's just out there enjoying their life, and things happen that weren't supposed to happen, I don't feel bad for them because they don't feel bad for themselves. So it has a lot to do with that comfort within yourself and just, again, giving yourself the freedom to not be perfect. It's very hard in music because that's especially like if you've been trained, the whole point is to be perfect. And I would love to be perfect, but if it's a trade-off between perfection and just enjoying it, I will enjoy it and make all the mistakes. And I think the audience will have a lot more fun watching that than anything else.
Absolutely. That was the first time I thought it her played. She was with Book Club, and she was the only girl on a band on this bandstand at Blop Blop playing the trumpet. And I was like, she is not afraid to be anything different. I want her to be my friend. I like her. It was just the energy about her.
Yeah, and just about being okay with yourself.
Yeah. So like, oh yeah. She's stuck with me now.
That's okay.
Good.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. That's pretty inspiring. Do you have any, actually, sorry, I'm going to cut this question because I kind of already asked that. But I guess 1 second here. It's being recorded, but we can edit after. So just letting you know, I'm not just like, I have kind of,
hi, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. I guess, yeah. I'll ask you what's the best advice that you've ever been given as a musician, I guess.
Oh God.
You're better than you think you are.
That's a pretty one. Nobody thinks they're as good as they actually are.
True. I think I said this before, but anybody who is working in the music industry in our town, they want you to join too. They will support you to get to where you want to be and what you want to do. You have a whole group of cheerleaders that is like right behind you. Nobody's going to look down on you for making mistakes. Nobody's going to look down on you if you get there and you don't know what to do. Somebody will be there to have your back in any situation.
I can say in my experience, the better the musician, the more supportive they are. Oddly, you think that these people that actually know what they're doing would be more critical.
Mm-hmm.
But I find the only people that have any criticism for you, if they're negative people in the first place, so I feel sad that they're hurting and they feel they need to go their way to tell you you're not good enough. But I've actually never had that criticism from phenomenal musicians. They're always there for you like that, you know, and I think the best piece of advice is, you know, I think that you can do anything in life is to just not really worry about the judgments of others. Anyone that is giving you negative judgment isn't really, like, their judgment isn't worth you listening to.
And if you're the one being the negative judger,
yeah. There's like a Brene Brown thing, something about being in the arena. Like, if you're not in the arena, I don't care what you have to say. And oddly, anyone that's in this arena, even if I'm a beginner, is going to be super supportive. I've never met anything but a supportive person who is a great musician. They're always just so encouraging.
And the other Brene Brown line that I really, really love is that artists were the kids that nobody wanted to sit with at high school and everybody wants to be now.
Yeah.
I think that's actually very true.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think, yeah, it's like the theater kids are like the cool kids now, or any artist. Yeah. But it's like they're
Russell was the band at kids, so I don't know how that would work. Play the charm.
That's cool. Erin, you mentioned this like a couple times about not being kind of afraid to just be who you are. But that doesn't just happen overnight. So what was
not? I went through years of trying to be a perfect trumpet player. I went through years where I can say this from my own experience. I got to a level around 19, where I was very good. And then I got good enough that it got in my head in my last 2 years of drum corps, age when you're 21. When I was 20 and 21, I can say when I look back on those years, I didn't do as well because I got inside my own head. Those are the more people. I was just getting mature enough to notice that I was good. Everyone else was sort of, okay, you're good. Time to get to the next level. And as soon as I got in my head and started not loving myself about it, and I got old enough to like where that judgment starts creeping in your life about everything, it's a maturity thing. Things I didn't play as well. And then when I got a little bit older and wanted to do it again, I just let go of it. Was hard, but I had to like, it's okay to be a beginner. It's okay to not be good at things. It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
I got better again.
When you get to the top of one ladder, you're only at the bottom of another, right? And that's a really uncomfortable spot to sit in because you go from being the best to like, oh, I'm the worst.
Yeah. And when you go around town and you look at some really entertaining players, I always remember, especially when you got caught up in the conservatory, really technical music stuff. Wow, I'm being super entertained, and this is intermediate level music. It doesn't have to be all virtuosic, just, like genius music, which I super appreciate. It's not that I don't love it, but most people really just want to hear someone banging chords with a guitar and singing and having fun and emotion and having fun. So just to sort of like with that, I do think it's some personal work, but I think with kids, they're born that way. We just have to not touch it. Like when I was a kid, I would blast that trumpet so loud, my mom would send me outside into our camper that was parked in the back because it was just hard for her to listen to. But that's what I got good with, being able to make all these big, loud, bad sounds. And I was just young enough that I did not care. And I had to come back to that child inside myself. So I want to preserve that in kids now. Maybe they don't have to get to the I hate myself and then play worse. And then you hate yourself even more because you can't play.
Oh, I remember being in choir, and I was always this big personality. So I'd be singing with my biggest smile at all of the expressions. And I remember being in a hallway after and seeing a grade 6 that was making fun of me for singing and being, like I was in like grade 1, grade 2, for being myself. And it really hurt. And like that actually did make it smaller.
Yeah, it makes you small.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I watched it happen with my daughter and different things too. And I don't want kids to feel that way. So if I'm the grown up and I'm able to be that big, loud, silly thing that makes it okay, I will own that.
Yeah, so the example. That's what they need. They need to see an example. They need to see adults being what it is we're looking for in a world.
I think we're funny. We're super supportive of pretty much everything, but we're also silly, like really silly.
Fun part.
That is so great. That's inspiring. And that a lot of what you guys said resonates with me, just with the creative process of like really getting in your own head. And that age old, like kids are born artists. And it's so true because there's just this lack of inhibition, lack of self-conscious. It's just raw expression, like as you mentioned.
Yes.
So that's very cool that you are celebrating that and you've kind of been able to gather together and you're working on that to help inspire kids. I'm sure it'll be an amazing performance.
What was your favorite kid song, Emelie?
Oh man, that's a good question. Oh, now I'm put on the spot. I don't know if I can think of.
Honestly, it took me to have kids to remember songs. Like I forgot them, and then I had babies, and we started listening to nursery rhymes and little kid songs, and then whatever. When I was a kid, I loved Down by the Way, which is why it's still on my go when I get in front of kids, because kids love to be able to make up a stupid, silly lyric.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They're wearing underwear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, always power up in that song. Stuff like that.
But it's funny.
When it's fun and funny, it's fine. They're learning. They're at least seeing an example of humans who can just enjoy for a minute.
Right on. So in like a sentence, how would you describe what Fun and Funner will be like at Fringe North?
Fun family entertainment. If you're an adult, we just want to take you back to feeling like a kid. And if you're a kid, we want to celebrate you being a kid. We like to sort of set the example / we might even talk about a little bit about just being yourself. And if you want to, do something, and don't let the world around you stifle you from being able to have your self-expression, whether it's music, dance, or whatever. Just, that sort of thing. Yep, nailed it.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you both for joining. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, and thank you everyone for joining us. Merci, miigwech, gracias. Just a reminder that Fringe North 2024 will be from August 21st to the 25th. Please check out our website and all our social media in the description below for more information about Fringe North. And if you want to support all the work that our team is doing here, please consider tipping the Fringe. Your support not only helps emerging and Northern artists, but it supports us as well. Every dollar counts. You can find that link down below as well. We will be back next week with another episode, and we can't wait to see you then. Thank you.
Thanks, Emelie.
Hooray there. I'm the Hither, the proud mascot of Fringe North 2024. You'll see me swaying in the wind throughout the festival, just like I do in the beautiful shorelines of Mediterranean Ireland. I'm an artist in my own right, bringing a touch of natural beauty wherever I go. Fringe North is all about celebrating the vibrant arts community in the north. And guess what? 100% of our box office sales goes straight to paying the amazing artists who bring the festival to life. But to keep the magic going, I need your help. If you spot me around the festival, feel free to ask me questions or discover cool facts about Fringe North. And most importantly, tip the Fringe. Your support helps us to continue to bring this incredible festival back year after year. So, want to support Fringe North? Tip the Fringe and let the arts flourish. Remember, Fringe North. Expect the unexpected. For more information on how to tip the Fringe, head on over to SueFringe.com.